I'm pretty used to it now. So I've come over to Europe. I travel to Australia 5 or 6 times a year, so I'm quite used to travelling on my own. I have sort of really set rules around the size of the baggage that I take, etc., that I can carry it. People look at me and have been looking at my baggage going, is that all you've got? A woman away for 7 weeks and that's all you've got? Because I have a keyboard case that my guitar goes in and my clothes go around it, except I had a little mishap with it here, so my morning was spent sewing up the the hole that got put in it. But yeah, so I just travel very lightly and plan things out really well for myself, thinking about, how I get from A to B. Yeah. Yeah, well, I couldn't do it without, I've been married for 21 years this year, so and I've got 3 children, but it's always been my work. So since before we met, it's always been my work, and I think that's really important in music as a professional musician, is having a partner that totally gets that, and not everybody gets that. So, but really, in reality, this is my biggest trip away. I'm away for 7 weeks between now and when I get back to my actual farm. And so, that's a long time for me, but normally I'm only sort of 3 weeks away. So, yeah, I'm lucky I've got good solid people at home. The kids handle it, but we have technology. We speak on Skype every day, face to face with the kids. They text me and go, can I have $10? Like normal teenagers, the only time I get a text is when they want money. I came over to the UK, just stopped the night because it was 26 and a half hours flying time to get to England, just overnighted to let myself adjust, and then flew into Italy and played at Voghera Country Music Festival just south of Milan, which was really good. So I went straight in and rehearsed with a band and then played an hour and a half show. So that's always different, and this time I'm doing that with 3 different bands that will learn a full set. And then I came to Switzerland for a few days to see my family. The Monday to Thursday I tend to be spending with friends or family, and the Friday, Saturdays I'm working. So that's how that's rolling, or doing radio interviews.
So you're quite busy.
Yeah, so here, of course, in Düsseldorf, and then off tomorrow morning to Marseille. And I'll be there during my early week because my website developer is actually in Marseille, so I'm there working with him, and then I'll go off to Valencia and play in Valencia for some expat English people that live there, and then I'll cross to the UK doing just radio interviews there in the UK, and then I go to Poland to Festival Picnic, and there on the same night as Roseanne Cash, so that's going to be cool. And then up to Norway, and then I fly home, and I fly all the way back to Australia, play a gig in Australia, do some radio interviews, and then I fly home to New Zealand and compere the Country Music Awards of New Zealand as a compere, and then the next morning I fly back to Australia and play at the Sydney Opera House, and then the next day I fly back to New Zealand. So at the end I'm doing this sort of 24-hour turnaround to New Zealand and back to Australia, but I don't quite get home because I'm in the South Island, so I just fly over to the gig and fly back. Horseshoe Rodeo Hotel is the new CD. Funny little picture on the front. This, which is actually a painting done by Brett Hayward, who co-wrote a song on here called Midnight Cowboys, and I couldn't afford that painting because his paintings are like in the Wallace Trust collection in New Zealand, and they're worth a lot of money, but he commissioned and painted this painting for me, and he also co-wrote a song on here called Midnight Cowboys, which there's a line in it that goes, Horseshoe Rodeo Hotel, lizard ate the flies and all as well. And so I named the album after the line in the song, the beginning of the second verse. He co-wrote that with Alan Jansen, who produced it. So this is the second album that Alan and I have done. It took about 15 months to complete. coming and going back forward. I've got some lovely guests on there. Probably one person that's on that song is from Three Dog Night, Paul Kingery. That Three Dog Night happened to be playing in New Zealand, and he's a friend, and so he came and put some guitar on there. But lots of great musicians and songs written about travel. So yeah, there's lots of songs on there about that have been inspired by the fact that I travel a lot and play. Well, this album and the last one I crowdfunded. So a lot of those people are from, I've got lots of crowdfunders that are from Germany, for example, from the Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland, and they all advance bought copies of the album, so which I'm slowly sending out to them. Some I'm sending from over here. So my fans have been very much part of that networking, of that social media and crowdfunding. So, and I've had fans that have travelled to come and see me at various events. Yeah. It's really good. There's a lot of community radio stations, very big community radio station network. So the first single off here, Home, has just come out, and it's just appeared on the top 40 country charts over there at number 26, and the album is now on the New Zealand album charts. That's all genre charts. So, you know, I've built up some fans in Australia, New Zealand and Europe. You know, this is my 4th trip over here playing. So
you sure do, because we are fans as well.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Jimmy Little was an amazing country artist in Australia, Aboriginal, and he did a lot for Aboriginal people, and so that's something that's really inspired me, and I enjoy sort of volunteering my time with that. So I went out to Murajulu, which is the Aboriginal community by Uluru, which people would know as Ayers Rock, but Uluru is actually its Aboriginal name, so we call it by that. So yeah, it was, you know, it's good reaching children through music. It's fantastic. Well, my father was an opera singer with the Guildhall School of Music, so in his younger years, so I always had music around me. So I did classical piano for about the first kind of from about 10 years of age through to about 15, so that gave me a good grounding. And then I liked to listen to people like, well, earlier on I quite liked Peter Paul and Mary, and I liked harmonies, you know, things with harmonies in it, and Bonnie Raitt, Emmylou Harris, those kind of people, Joni Mitchell, Sheryl Crow more latterly, and yeah. It's very from the heart, and I suppose as country crossover, a lot of my tracks cross over into various different areas of music, and I think that's just really because I don't try to stay in one genre. I just really write true to myself and what comes out. I just write what comes out. I don't think about it being one way or the other. Predominantly there's a country thread through it though. That's just the way it is because of the way I'm influenced, I guess, but some of the songs fall quite folky, some fall quite blues. There's a track on here called Kimberley, which is about the northern part of Australia, that's almost world music with a didgeridoo and clapping sticks, so, you know, it's quite diverse. This album's quite eclectic, like the last was, yeah. Yeah, the Sou'westers, which is another side project that I have, and I use sort of bands everywhere really, but the Sou'westers have done quite well under their own steam. It's a more organic three, Liam, Dean and myself, which we've all had our individual careers and come together to songwrite and share songs. So yeah, we did pretty well with our last album over there in the charts and things. Yeah.
And they didn't want to accompany you on the...
Oh, I'm sure them and a number of other musicians would like to stow away in my bag. The fiddle player tried to jump inside the bag and come with me. I'd love to bring a band over, but it's just not logistically, it just doesn't work, and there's so many great European bands. Aly Cook, who I just played with in Italy, amazing band, learnt my stuff just like the record. I mean, I'm brand new with these songs. Some of them I did for the first time with the Italian band on stage, and they were just, they were just really fabulous, those guys. Yeah, I mean, it's really strong. There's heaps of line dancing. They can line dance to anything. I've actually got Adriano Castagnoli, who's a very prolific choreographer from Italy. The song Midnight Cowboys has actually got him in the background, and we've green screened, but I've actually got line dancers in this next single that comes from the album. So, I mean, it's good. And my experience has been that they really, with the backing bands, is that they've really learnt my stuff. Like, the standard of professionalism amongst the local musicians is really good, and I love that, coming to a festival and using the local musicians, because I've been a festival director myself, and so because I wear other hats in the industry, and it's really good because I come as the international artist. It's good kudos for the local band. They get to back an artist, it lifts their profile, they get to play the festival, and the festival director, it's cheaper for them because they've only got to bring me in, and the bands are usually local, so that's really helpful. I think the main thing is that realise that it is hard work. It's like any job that you do. People one of their favourite lines with me is, "Oh, you're so lucky you got to play there." Well, I'm so lucky because I pitch festivals every week without fail. I'm already pitching festivals for Europe next year, for Australia later on in the year. So I call it throwing lines in the ocean. So when young people ask me, they say, "What advice have you got?" I say, put the lines in the ocean, okay? Never be one day with at least not 3 or 4 lines in the ocean. So I applied for that festival, I applied for that funding, I applied for that competition, I did this on my Facebook page, so make sure that you've got all the lines in the ocean, because sometimes one line will come up with no bait on it and nothing on it, and another time you'll get a little fish, and sometimes you'll fight and you'll land a whopper, So you've got to keep lines in the ocean, and don't think that it's not hard work. It's like any other job. In fact, it's damn hard work. It's really hard work. So be prepared to work hard. Don't think that people are just going to come and give you stuff, because you know what? Yeah, the thing is that young people have to realise, for every person that's talented, there's 10,000 just as talented as you, and probably half of them are working harder, and they're the ones who are going to get further. So it's really, that is really important, is getting the work ethic happening. Countryline Europe, these guys are really cool. I kind of knew someone was coming to film me, but I'm really excited about being on Countryline Europe, and I've just joined Countryline Europe's Facebook page, so be prepared to become part of the Aly Cook Facebook family with my 8 profiles and everything else. It's great. Anybody that's doing something for country music as far as television or radio goes, that's the same, and I would say that to young people. Someone plays your music, you make sure you promote their station. If someone does something with you, you look after them. That's all part of it as well, because a lot of these people are doing this voluntary or out of the goodness of their heart, or that they're just doing it because they believe in it. And so